Just tested it. There, now it's on. Sorry. Inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to cause, to serve you, Spirit of freedom. And our first hymn this morning is number 361. Oh, is it? I do like this one a lot myself. Yeah.
3, 4, enter rejoicing, come in. Enter rejoicing, come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter rejoicing, come in.
Seated, and our responsive reading this morning is number 611. Comes from the Hindu tradition. I am the self that dwells in the heart of every mortal creature. I am the beginning, the lifespan, and the end of it all. I am death that snatches all. I also am the source of all that shall be born. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end in creation. I am the knowledge of things spiritual. I am the divine seed of all lives. In this world, nothing animate or inanimate exists without me. I am the knowledge of the knower. There is no limit to my divine manifestations. And next we move on to joys and concerns. The ritual of joys and concerns is an invitation to hold each other in our hearts. We invite you to share what has given you joy this week or what it might have made your heart heavy. So when you come up, please pick up the microphone and light a candle as you speak. Anyone want to start us off? Yeah? Do you know where the microphone is? It's right hanging on this chair here.
This week I went on the Cave of the Winds and Made of the Mist, and it was really great.
I'll bet. Wow. Was it wet too?
Yes, very. And also the Made of the Mist ponchos are better quality than the Cave of the Winds ponchos. So if you're ever doing that, go on the Made of the Mist first because the ponchos are better than the Cave of the Winds ponchos. And you get much wetter on the Cave of the Winds because there's this thing where there's like the horse, the falls like you can stand and the water is like pouring on you. It's interesting.
Wow. Well, you better hang on to those ponchos just in case you need them again, right? Yes. Oh, was it? Okay, good job.
Well, I have a joy. We have a celebrity in our midst. Diane was fabulous. Kathy and I went to see her last night. What a wonderful play, what a wonderful performance. And my sister said, that was a great ab workout for you.
You got one, Patty?
So Friday, I became a whole year older, and I'm no wiser.
That's not true.
I would just like to have any information that anybody has about Bill Lisk. He had his operation, I know, and had a good day and a bad day. Does anybody have more information than that? You, maybe Teresa, would you share with us?
I don't know that I have a whole lot more. He emailed me and said they were going to be sending him home on Friday. And I texted Patty Friday afternoon to see if they came home, and I have not heard anything from either one of them since, so I don't know.
Good morning. My name's Meg. I always have something to say, don't I? Well, it's our season, homecoming, and I just wanted to say I'm so very proud of my nephew who had just lost his father. He went to homecoming by himself, and the way he dressed, oh my goodness. He had on this black fedora cocked to the side and a black silk tie and burgundy shirt and black suit. He was dressed to the nines, and I'm so proud of you, Will. Thank you.
Hi, I just have this one prophetic sort of message this week. It's rather simple. There's inferiority, there's mediocrity, And with love, there's superiority.
That's a good one. Do we have any others? No? Okay. I'm not good with tech stuff, but I did manage to turn it off. We all come to this space carrying joys and concerns. So I will light a candle to recognize the joys and sorrows that have been unspoken, but are nonetheless very real. There we go. The offertory that we take each Sunday isn't just a stale habit. It's an opportunity to recommit to this place and to these people. Our offering is an affirmation. It's a yes. When we give, we say yes to something that we value. With our gifts freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the land, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Our meditation reading this morning is called Soul Lifts by Tess Bomberger. Wouldn't it be great if you could take a picture of your soul? Then when your mother wanted to brag about you, she could show people the picture and say, "That's my daughter. Doesn't she have a beautiful soul, all sparkly and many-colored and flowing all around her?" Wouldn't it be great if we walked around surrounded by our souls so that they were the first thing people saw instead of the last things? Then people would judge us by who we really are instead of how we look. Imagine no more racism, ageism, sexism, fatism, shortism, homophobia. Imagine falling in love with a person who is just by looking at them. It would be a kind of cloaking device, hiding physical faults or even perfections. I'd want it to be mandatory. Then people could work at making their souls more attractive instead of making their bodies and faces more attractive. Imagine people knowing by your soul that you really need a hug. Imagine people helping each other and their souls changing colors or growing. Imagine soul gyms with exercises to get your sagging soul in shape. Imagine long lines forming for soul lifts at churches, temples, mosques, synagogues, or nature's grand cathedrals. And let's take a moment to meditate on that. Last spring, I visited a very old friend who lives in North Carolina and is always trying to convince me to move there. However, I'm glad this week I don't live there because I'd be underwater. While I was there, I bought a ball cap with the insignia on it, "All is well with my soul." I'm pretty sure had the store clerk asked me about my religious preferences, she probably wouldn't have sold me the hat. North Carolina is such a Bible belt, and my idea of all being right with my soul is far from the idea of most North Carolinians. In his book of Awakening, Mark Nepo tells a story of Miriam Elks, who spoke of how two things sustained her through the Holocaust in the Kovnov ghetto in Lithuania and through the death of her beloved husband. One of these things was a crust of bread, which she always kept on her person. The other was a small, broken comb. Miriam said she kept the bread in her pocket in case she ran into someone who needed it more than she did. And she said no matter what, she would comb her hair every morning and every night, which reminded her that no matter what her life looked like at the time, she was a human being, an individual with a soul. These ordinary objects, a piece of bread and a comb, can symbolize so much. Nepo says they are a profound example of how the spirit, the soul, can turn ordinary objects into living symbols that can help us survive. In our church, we cater to a wide range of beliefs, so we can't all agree on the source that was the origin of life. We don't agree as to whether or not someone or something is in control of life or what happens to us after we die. But I think we can agree that there is something that made Miriam Elks be Miriam Elks, a woman who held on to two things, kindness and love, and those two things helped her survive the Holocaust. As Unitarian Universalists, we strive to be like Miriam. Holding kindness and love within us makes us us. It gives us the strength to survive the challenges of our lives. For Miriam, the piece of bread she gave to others when she was still starving herself symbolized the empathy and respect she had for other human life. That could not be put down by the Nazis. The comb symbolized her individualism and her respect for herself, and that cannot be put down by the Nazis. The oppressors could take away her home, her husband, her livelihood, her food, her freedom, but they could not take away her humanity, her personhood, her soul. Many days I am not certain there is a God or a higher power, or that the universe really influences our lives in any way. But then along comes a day when the synchronicity of life makes me think that something could possibly be in control. Or is it all just coincidence? This is a question we will never know the answer to for certain. But I do believe, like Miriam, that I have a soul, and I believe you all have souls. And most of the people I know, I am convinced have souls. And then there are a few people that I wonder about. I'm going to tell you about one of those. 2 weeks after Cal, my late husband, passed away, the doorbell rang. I opened the door to the man who owned the house next door to us, a large 4-unit rental with 2 more rental units in the carriage house at the back. The man, John, did not live in the house. John asked for Cal. I told him Cal had just died 2 weeks ago. Of course, he said that he was sorry for my loss, but then he continued to present the reason that he had come. There was a tree in our backyard that was in danger of being blown down onto his carriage house. And Cal, he told me, had told him that he would have it taken down at some point. And now, John wanted it down. I knew about the tree, and I also knew that it was going to cost about $10,000 to get it taken down. I also knew that John professed to be a born-again Christian, a man with a soul, right? I said to him, John, I can't even think about that right now. Cal just died, and I have no idea where I stand financially yet. John continued to press the matter, saying that the tree was in danger of falling down and killing his tenant. And his tenant didn't deserve that. By the time John left, I was angry. A month or so later, he sent me a certified letter on his business stationery, which was imprinted with the name, The Right Way, that was the name of his business, telling me again that I had to get the tree taken down. Jim Carrey tells a joke about how he decided one day that he wanted some French fries. So he went to America's Choice store for French fries and asked for an order of fries. The woman serving him took his order and asked, "Would you like fries with that?" It's a joke, but what is going on with these people? Didn't they have enough coffee in the morning? Do they need to wake up? This kind of rote living, where you follow a script or an agenda that's kind of been written in your head, does not lead us to a spiritual or soulful life. I saw another example of this a couple of weeks ago when I watched a social justice film at my church in Cleveland. The movie is called God and Country, and it was produced by Rob Reiner, who you all know Rob Reiner. He's pretty well respected as a producer and a director, and has, as most of you would know, a liberal point of view. This film talked about Christian nationalism and how it affects our country and Christianity itself. Christian nationalists believe America was founded as a Christian nation, that the Constitution defines us as Christian, and that we need to return to their very narrow view of Christianity. If anyone believes they have souls, it's these people, who are often armed to the teeth, are defined and pumped up by fear and anger, and who are never going to save a piece of bread for someone who needs it more than they do, especially if that person looks differently from themselves. The majority of Christians in this movie were white. Reiner very carefully interspersed interviews with respected scholars and religious leaders between segments that showed the Christian nationalists. The scholars interviewed, many of whom were either Christians themselves or had started out their lives in Christian churches, talked about how the premises of Christian nationalism are not based in fact. You might recognize the name Rob Schenck, who was a former evangelical minister who campaigned against abortion, but now he speaks against the evangelicals. He's in the film. Andrew Seidel, a constitutional attorney, speaks about the Constitution and Christianity. Kristen Cobbs-Dumez, a historian who was also raised Christian, relates history to the national Christian movement. The truth, according to these scholars, is that this country was founded on pluralism. Our Constitution defends the separation of church and state. And Christian nationalism, which would have its followers arm themselves and profess that Jesus would do the same, were he here, doesn't allow for the gospel. In fact, much of it is opposite to what Christ intended. I thought that one of the most telling moments in the film was when Simone Campbell, who was a Catholic nun and had become an attorney, spoke about her experiences with women who were in need of abortions. I have to paraphrase, but the gist of her story was that until she saw the circumstances that many pregnant women are in, she saw abortion just as a black and white issue. She admittedly said she was brainwashed by the Catholic Church. When her work led her to see the real life experiences of women, she realized that their choices were not black and white, and she became pro-choice. But like my former neighbor and the fast food worker who spouts, "Do you want fries with that?" evangelicals live by rote. They only hear and repeat the phrases that they want to hear, need to hear, because they have stopped learning. Their security lies in knowing something that they can't feel or hear, but that is easy to believe and makes them appear to be superior in their minds. Their leaders instill in them anger and fear, not knowledge. And they are comfortable with this because not only do they feel right, all of their questions are settled. They don't have to do the work of learning anything new. Can you imagine what would happen if they woke up in a ghetto one day, deprived of food, with nothing but a crust of bread and half a comb? How would they cope if their world was turned upside down? They are steeped in ignorance, which is not to say that they're not intelligent. It's just to say they're not seekers. They're not asking questions. Does anybody here remember Carlos Castaneda? For me, he was the voice of the mystical 60s and 70s. And I always thought that he was a philosopher, but he was really an anthropologist. Anyway, Castaneda left us these words: "Look at every path closely and deliberately. Try it as many times as you think necessary. Then ask yourself, and yourself alone, does this path have a heart? If it does, the path is good. If it doesn't, it is of no use." Does this path have a heart? Are heart and soul one and the same? I think that in the way that Castaneda refers to the heart, they are. The difference between believing in something in a fundamentalist, evangelist way, and in believing in something in a woke way, where you're not living by rote, but instead are living by constantly making the choice to re-ask the questions and leave the door open to the mystery, is the difference between having a breathing, living soul and having a frozen, lifeless soul that is left unattended just because it's harder to do the work. People like my former neighbor want to take the easy way out and rest on their laurels, believing their path is the right thing. They don't ask, does this path have a heart? We are coming up on a time that is going to test our souls, no matter what outcome occurs. We could end up with option one, a leader we don't respect or actually dislike, or option two, a leader we have faith will do the best job possible, or option three, there may be a period where we don't have a clearly defined leader at all. If we don't get option two, what will make the difference between our like-minded friends and family members and those who do not think like us, but more like Christian nationalists? It will be our souls, our ability to keep learning and asking questions, to have empathy for each other and for those on the other side, to have, as Barack Obama called it, the audacity of hope. It will be our ability to be kind and loving and have the audacity to be hopeful. Like Miriam Elks, we will comb our hair in the mornings and at night, even if it is just with a piece of small broken comb. Having a soul means facing challenging times with your head high, knowing that your soul is in the right place. You are on a path that has heart, and that eventually that path is going to bring you out of the darkness. Like our meditation reading, Soul Lists, we must keep nourishing our souls, feeding our brains with science-based information about the state of our planet, with opinions from more than just one perspective about the shape of politics, with factual histories of what has happened before our times, with knowledge about the challenges faced by other peoples, people of color, people from undeveloped countries, from developed countries that have different cultures than ours, and closer to home, knowledge about how other generations of Americans think and feel. We must keep learning, because that's the only way to understand each other and the rest of the world. You have a soul. Take it to the gym each Sunday. Bring it here. During the week, give it the nourishment of lifelong learning, and take the time to digest that by sitting alone with your thoughts or discussing your thoughts with others. Listen to music, appreciate the arts, have some French fries. Don't worry about the future. Our souls will get us through, and we will help each other get through, even if it may seem that all we have to offer is a crust of bread. Like Miriam Elks, we will fight anger and fear with kindness and love. And by the way, the tree fell down in a windstorm on my shed, not on the neighbor's carriage house. And all is well with my soul. So be it, and blessed be. And we will now sing hymn number 347, another one of my favorites.
Witness the mystery, begin so
Our closing words this morning are from Susan Van Dresser. Let us sing the magic of oh, first we'll do our announcements. I forgot the announcements. Sorry. Does anyone have any announcements?
So Patty finally responded to my emails and texts and sent me a picture of Bill. It looks like he's at home. And she said the VNA nurse is there and Bill's doing pretty well.
Very good.
Good. Any others? Oh, okay. So now we will have our closing words. Let us sing the magic of imagination by which we know each other and learn the lives of eras gone by. Let us sing the magic of creation by which we build the world of our soul and teach its wisdom to others, young and old. Let us sing the magic of our lives together, holding and shaping by the movement of breath from heart to lung, all new life that is to come. Go now with singing. Go now with magic on your fingertips. Touch this world with life. And will you join me in the words for extinguishing the chalice? We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Oh dear. I just bought this and I realized the print is small, so anything could happen. I was a highwayman. Along the coach roads I did ride, a sword and pistol by my side. Many a young maid lost her baubles to my trade. Many a soldier shed his lifeblood on my blade. The bastards hung me in the spring of 25, but I am still alive. I'll always be alive. I'll always be around, around and around and around and around. And I think I have the last verse memorized, but who knows? I fly a starship across the universe divide, and when I reach the other side, I may become a highwayman again, or I may simply be a single drop of rain, but I'll be back again and again and again and again. I think I missed a line in there. No, I didn't.
We wouldn't know if you did.
Okay, good.